Hi guys, welcome to my channel. It's Alex Base here. Today I've got the iPhone 15. It's the green color. It's got 6 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of storage. Today we're going to find out what upgrades and changes Apple have made to it. However, one thing becomes very obvious even before you open the box, and they have replaced the ugly notch with the dynamic island. You can see straight away that's used on the more expensive top of the line Pro and Pro Max for a couple of years now. That's a positive thing in my view. They also changed the chipset, which is now the Bionic A16. The top line 15 Pro and Pro Max are getting the latest one, the newest chipset by Apple, which is A17 Pro, but even at A16 is still very, very fast and a very reliable chip. We're gonna get into that a little bit later in the performance part, but here's the phone itself, and you can see it's as I said, a green color with a green frame. This is again aluminum frame, it's not titanium like on the 15 Pro and Pro Max, and the phone is pretty much the same weight as the 14, and the design is pretty much the same as well. We've got the alert slider on and off, and also the other changes here in the USB is now USB-C, thanks to the European Union, who pressured Apple to change it, and it's no longer the Lightning port, which is also an upgrade in my view. And we've got the 2 cameras at the back, and the screen has been also upgraded. Of course, it's a very nice looking phone, as you can see. Yeah, it's a pretty good looking phone, and the screen is great except for the fact that it's a 60 Hz screen. Too bad. It's got the extra boost, just like on the more expensive Pro and Pro Max, which is great, really. The phone only weighs 171 grams, by the way. It's pretty light, which is good overall. In terms of performance, this phone doesn't disappoint at all. It's actually even slightly faster than, very, very slightly faster than 14 Pro Max and 14 Pro with the same chipset, A16. Even though it's not the latest one, A17 Pro, it's still a very, very good chipset, very reliable, and everything that you throw at it just minces it and performs extremely well. No complaints there, runs very smoothly. And also the GPU is very powerful as well. I don't really need to say that, but yes, it is. And anything that I used it for was very fast and reliable throughout the day. Games are also running very well on it. And I just try a few games. PUBG was one of them, Call of Duty was another one, and of course my favorite, Asphalt Legends. But too bad it only goes up to 60 Hz. You will not see any frame drop or any stuttering or anything like it, but at this price point it really should have been a 120 Hz screen. But it is what it is after all. As I said, anything that you throw at it is gonna chew it and spit it out without even thinking about it. Looking at the screen again, it's actually quite nice. It's an AMOLED screen on 60 Hz. That's the downside, but so very nice screen, very vivid colors. It charges slowly in typical Apple fashion. It's a small battery, 3,349 milliamp hours, but still it holds up well for what it is. The phone is very legible outside as well. It's got a wireless charge at 15 watts. Again, slowish, but still better than nothing. It cannot complain much about it, I guess. Now, for the last one, let's take a look at those cameras. Usual setup. It's got 2 cameras, a main camera and an ultra wide, and it's the usual camera app as well. which your Apple fans are actually very used to it. And there's some samples. Broad daylight, it makes very good pictures. There's lots of it, both ultra wide and the main camera. The 2x zoom is very good, and there's plenty of detail in it. Natural colors all over, so it's gonna be probably boring for people who like pop colors up and everything else, but still, it's very good. Even indoor shots are among the best I've seen on a phone, really. They're very consistent, and there's plenty of detail, and dynamic range is good. White is well balanced is good. And as I said, the colors are very naturally looking, probably boring for some folks, really, but they are true to life. Selfies and portrait shots are nice. They've got accurate colors, again, nice detail, good high dynamic range, and exposure balance is pretty good. Even the separation of the subject is pretty good in portrait mode, which I appreciate a lot. Night shots are overall solid, but not the best on the market. Level of detail is again slightly below that of Pixel 8 or OnePlus 11. However, that's not too much of a criticism, really, because they are still overall solid, pretty good. That's not to say these are bad in any way, but the HDR is pretty just above average, and it's not that great. Including selfies, they're excellent with great detail. However, the HDR could be better. The ultra wide low lights are a little bit on the downside, but still not too bad considering the limited lighting and the 12 megapixel sensor. The video stabilization is not as good as I expected, but still I've seen much worse, so it's not much to complain here. The level of detail is good. The white balance is also above average. The dynamic range is definitely above average too, and the colors are punchy, true to life. So yeah, not much to complain. Here's how the selfies video look like. Typical upgrade by Apple, really. You've got the almost a day of battery life and iterative improvements here and there. 5 years of security and software updates, which is pretty good. Overall, you decide if it is good enough. Till next time. Ciao!